Hello and welcome to this edition of Talkin Blues. I'm Keith Wyatt, and this month we're going to talk about a guy who's really kind of the grandfather of us all, a guy named Charlie Christian. Now you might have heard of Charlie Christian, maybe not, but Charlie Christian was the first true star of the electric guitar. Now there had been great single-line guitar players previous to Charlie. Lonnie Johnson, unbelievably talented and influential guitar player on acoustic, influenced everybody really. He played with a guy named Eddie Lang, who was the guitarist for Paul Whiteman, which was the biggest orchestra in the land in the 20s and 30s. Django Reinhardt, of course, you know, all these guys were playing single note solos and exceedingly sophisticated stuff. But now you could have that guitar player be the equivalent of a saxophone or a trumpet. So it was a revolution. And it took a while, as always, for the innovation to kind of settle in, and it took somebody, and it was Charlie Christian in this case, to figure out how you could really utilize the capabilities of the new technology. Now the sad story is that Charlie had a pre-existing condition, as we call it today, which was tuberculosis. And so after only 2 years with Benny Goodman, he had to check into the hospital. At that time they called them sanitariums. And you were just supposed to lay down and rest up and kind of get your strength back. Well, in Charlie's case, unfortunately, it didn't succeed, and he died in 1942. So we only have a couple of years worth of material, but it was a game changer. And for at least the next 10 or even 15 years, jazz guitar was defined by Charlie Christian and all the disciples of Charlie Christian that grew up listening to his influence. So we're going to take a few minutes just to scratch the surface. I'd like to show you a few things that, to me, help indicate why Charlie was so hip and why we can still draw on his influence today. Now, swing music was jazz, as we think of it today, but it was dance music, you know. And so people would go down to hear a swing band, and they were going to dance. They were going to get down to it. And the rhythm that they played was a very easy groove to dance to. It was the 4/4 swing beat, 4 beats on the kick drum, you know. And the guitar's role prior to electricity was to basically partner up with the kick drum and lay down a pattern like this. So what he transferred from his rhythm role as a guitar player in a big band was a profound sense of how to play time with his melodies. And what Charlie would do is he would play syncopated lines. Syncopation means you shift the accents on and off the beat to create something that has a little kind of a sort of an internal energy to it. So a great example of Charlie's imagination as a syncopated melody player is shown in figure 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, he plays just on the downbeats until he puts in that little upbeat, and that kind of gives it this little kick of energy, and then he outlines a major triad. Right? That's very typical of Charlie's style, is that he would combine a very simple rhythmic phrase with something that starts to develop in a more melodically complex way. And he was a guy who outlined the changes. He knew his arpeggios, and he played the changes often vertically up and down. Now, according to people that knew Charlie, and there's no film, there's no interviews talking about his technique, they say, well, he mostly downpicked, which is hard to believe because he moved around quite a bit. But he didn't actually cover the neck lengthwise. He mainly stayed in one position. So that phrase played at a little faster tempo. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Now this will be a good workout for your picking hand. I'm using standard alternate picking, nothing tricky. But if you're not used to picking, and I got to put myself in that category because I mainly play stuff that's more legato, this is a great way to develop your skills, just to play Charlie Christian licks and get that right hand moving up and down steadily like that. Now, what he would also do, in addition to a single note phrase like that, is take a lick and kind of move the lick rhythmically to different points in the progression. So in figure 2, you see an example of that idea, where he takes a simple melody and shifts it around and twists it and evolves it into something that's much more sophisticated. So played slowly, figure 2 goes like this. 1, 2, a 1, 2, 3. So you have the feeling that the phrase is like speeding up because he eliminates the gap between the repetitions, starts to change the melody, and then plays a little alteration there. And he was one of the pioneers in the sense of using melodic alteration in the key of B flat. That's like an E flat minor triad, the 4 minor. The 4 chord in B flat is E flat. So you've got E flat minor, which is sort of a substitute chord. So in his melodies, he's using alterations to create kind of a more, what would you call it, a colorful melodic line, using a little bit of dissonance in there. So at the end of the phrase, he does another favorite trick, which is the sweep. Now, what you got there is a major triad, root, 3rd, 5th, with that C up on top, and just drag the pick all downstroke. Right? He uses that all over the place, as we'll see when we do some of the other phrases. Okay? Now, played more up to tempo, here's figure 2. 1, 2, a 1, 2,